The Money Masters video was first released in 1996, about 10 and a half years ago. New World Order was a big success, sold about 250,000 copies. The Money Masters is also a huge success as a video. It sold about 30,000 copies at 50 bucks a crack. So now I'd like to show you what I made out of this tip that I got in 1980, 25 years ago, and why gold is not the answer. Gold backing for currency, bills of credit, has always been the problem throughout history and always will be. But if you start examining the problem of monetary reform, and that's what we'll be talking about here, monetary reform is what's needed. If you start looking at this problem at the founding of the Federal Reserve in 1913, you will totally miss the point. You cannot possibly understand what the problem is or the solution if you start with the Federal Reserve System. You can't do it. You'll get all hung up on this gold backing for the currency as being the answer, as Ed Griffin and Eustace Mullins have. I like Ed, he's a friend of mine, I've been to his house for lunch. We just disagree on the one point. We agree on everything else, what the solution is. He's an old gold dealer, and he'll never get out of that old thing that gold is the answer, gold is the answer. You can buy all the gold you want for investment purposes. You can trade gold coins and buy stuff. I don't care. But when it comes to paper currency, do not back your paper currency in gold. That is just a method of control. That's why Fort Knox is unloaded right now. It's only if you go back in history to see why the founding of the Bank of England in 1694 was a bad thing and why they had to replace the tally stick system by founding the Bank of England, why that was a bad thing, then you can get to the point. Okay, now let's go to the video. I hope we have it queued up to the right place, then that would be a good thing. To 18 minutes and 49 seconds, tally sticks. 1842. Whatever. The one that is headed tally sticks. It's the rolling of the economy up and down the business cycle. Like Julius Caesar, King Henry I of England finally resolved to take the money power away from the goldsmiths about 1100 AD. Henry could have used anything as money, seashells, feathers, or even yak dung, as is often done in remote Tibetan provinces. But he invented one of the most unusual money systems in history. It was called the tally stick system. Here I have one of the few surviving examples of this form of British money, which lasted 726 years until 1826, a tally stick. The tally system was adopted to avoid the monetary manipulation of the goldsmiths. Tally sticks were money fabricated out of sticks of polished wood. Notches were cut along one edge of the stick to indicate the denominations. Then the stick was split lengthwise through the notches so that both pieces still had a record of the notches. The king kept one half to protect against counterfeiting. Then he would spend the other half into the economy, and they would circulate as money. This particular tally stick is huge. It represented 25,000 pounds. One of the original stockholders in the Bank of England purchased his original shares with this stick. In other words, he bought shares in the world's richest and most powerful corporation with a stick of wood. It's ironic that after its formation in 1694, the Bank of England attacked the tally stick system because it was money outside the power of the money changers, just as King Henry had wanted it to be. Why do people accept sticks of wood for money? That's a great question. Well, we can't have the video on. We can't freeze that frame. I just wanted to freeze the frame and talk about it. This was filmed in the Bank of England Museum. Can you stop it so that we can see the frame? You see, the secret is that... Oh, good. Okay. I can't avoid this. Anyway, this was done in the Bank of England Museum. You see that little pyramid, plexiglass pyramid with .995 good delivery gold bars in there. I don't know how many of them were, but There was, although it looks pretty calm in there, there's Bank of England security on my left, just out of the frame, Bank of England security on my right, just out of the frame. And I had a bunch of scripts, and the way we, thank you. Oh my. And the way we did this video was somebody would hold up scripts, because I can't remember over 10 words in a row, especially when I'm in front of a camera and in front of you all. So anyway, they were watching me like a hawk, so I was rearranging the scripts because some of them were pretty harsh, talking about the Bank of England. So I started out with the real mild stuff and then gradually worked my way up, and you could see these guys get more agitated and fidgeting around, and I just knew, at some point they were going to say, give me that tape, you're out of here. So I got as far as I dared, and then we just folded up the tent and left. But just an interesting side note. Go ahead with the video.
Only what people agree on to use as money. What's our paper money today? It's really just paper. But here's the trick. King Henry ordered that tally sticks had to be used to pay the king's taxes. This built-in demand for tally sticks immediately made them circulate and be accepted as money. And they work well. In fact, no other form of money has worked so well for so long as tally sticks.
Keep in mind, the British Empire was built under the tally stick system.
The tally stick system succeeded despite the fact that the money changers constantly attacked it by offering the metal coin system as competition. In other words, metal coins never went completely out of circulation, but tally sticks hung on because they were good for the payment of taxes.
Okay, if you could stop it right there a sec. I needed to preface this, and I just forgot to do it. And that's about 1100 AD, King Henry of England got tired of the monetary manipulation of the goldsmiths, because the goldsmiths were really controlling the show by, as I said before, making their gold coins scarce or plenty. If they didn't loan them out liberally, they made them scarce. What happens? Less money in circulation. What happens even today when there's less money in circulation? Economy goes down. Now what the goldsmiths found out is that they could divert attention of the general population from them and throw it on the political entity, the king. And so when the economy went down, they didn't get the blame. The king got the blame. So what happened? So the king was really, if he didn't do what the goldsmiths wanted, then they crashed the economy. That's why I said it doesn't matter what backs your money. All that matters is who controls the quantity of money. That's the only thing that counts. And by having the gold backing makes it easier to control the quantity. So anyway, King Henry got tired of this. He said, we've got to figure out some kind of a better system. This is the most important responsibility of government. This is Abraham Lincoln fighting the Civil War. Says no, it's not preserving the Union is the most important function of government or whatever. The most important function of government is issuing the money. He understood the issue very deeply. And he issued government money, greenbacks. Interestingly, those greenbacks were in circulation until 1994 when they were finally killed by the Regal Act. The red seal dollar bills, if you ever see one, snag it up, because that's merely Lincoln's original greenback. And while I'm on it, before I forget, there's this misconception, this urban myth that President Kennedy was killed because he was about to reissue greenbacks, just because the last issue of greenbacks was in 1963. That was just the standard reissue. It occurred 11 different times since the time of Lincoln. Kennedy had nothing to do with it. He was not at Columbia University making that speech that day. He was in the White House. It's a total urban myth. And Kennedy, what's the worst thing you can do to the international banking community? What's the stake you drive into their heart? Having a country issue their own money, getting out of their system. Kennedy was just the opposite. He was an internationalist to the core. And you'll see in the video if you buy it, I don't have time to show it, that there's this wonderful quote of his from speaking before the New York Economic Club. I don't remember it exactly, but it's just totally international. There's no way Kennedy would issue U.S. notes. No way. And this supposed executive order that he issued, 11101 or whatever it is, it took me 3 days in the Library of Congress to finally track that down. It had nothing to do with the issuance of U.S. notes. It was merely a standard silver certificate reissue. So it just didn't happen.
Let's see, yeah, let's go on, just continue on with the video.
Finally, in the 1500s, King Henry VIII relaxed the laws concerning usury, and the money changers wasted no time reasserting themselves. They quickly made their gold and silver money plentiful for a few decades. But when Queen Mary took the throne and tightened the usury laws again, the money changers renewed the hoarding of gold and silver coins, forcing the economy to plummet.
Okay, let's just move up to
Mary's sister.
102, 1 hour and 2 minutes to where Jackson starts.